Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at wcbe.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Jordan Hanhilammi.
And this is It's Movie Time. Woo. You know what, Jordan? It's time for me to see Charlize Theron again.
It's kind of always time for that, I feel like.
Oh my God. I think last time I remember at least Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's really making an effort towards the action genre here recently with that and Fury Road and now The Old Guard.
Yeah, right. And most memorably, Mad Max.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And I felt like this was a similar kind of feel to her performance as that one.
Well, it's called The Old Guard.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And there are a bunch of immortals.
It's pretty on the nose.
You know, we have friends, and I'm not going to mention their name, who couldn't get past 20 minutes of this movie.
That's true. That is true. And I'll tell you, to be honest, I struggled with it myself a bit. I did like it, but I wanted to like it a lot more.
All right. So it's an action film,
Mm-hmm.
and Charlize is the head of a group, and they're doing good, trying to do good stuff. They're really mercenaries, but they're trying to do good stuff.
Yep.
And most of them have been living for hundreds of years.
Yeah, I believe as we get rolling, the most recent one was like the early 1800s.
Okay, yeah. And anything in particular, though, that you could emphasize, other than the fact that it was probably slow, my guess?
And I wouldn't, for me, it wasn't a slowness. It was, and you heard me kind of lamenting about this just recently, but a bit of the just kind of lack of personality. I feel like I like Charlize, but as I was saying earlier, like I think her performance was similar to Fury Road, in that it was just very morose. But there wasn't an incredibly stunning visual movie around the performance. So it worked in that movie because it balanced with that. But in this one, it just kept, I don't know, I just felt like there wasn't, it was just, it felt like it was taking everything really, really seriously.
And, you know, and I need to point out to you guys that, remember, she is done with it.
Mm-hmm.
She has had it.
Yeah.
She's had it with humanity. She doesn't give a darn about them. So I think that she's doing, in a character way, what she ought to be doing. Unfortunately, as the lead, that casts that dark spell over the film.
Yeah. Yep. You're exactly right. It's not. I agree that I don't necessarily fault her for going that route with it. There just wasn't. There wasn't really personality coming from much of anywhere. For me, I thought so. Kiki Lane is the new the actress to come. Which how amazing is that name, by the way?
I know.
She's the newest person to join the Guard, and she is, I think a very solid performance and gorgeous. And Ohio, she's in Ohio.
Good, that's right. Yeah.
But again, there just isn't a lot of personality there. There just wasn't anything. I felt like just about everybody in the movie, while I liked them, it could have been just about any other actor, and it would have been a similar movie.
And I thought that the relationship between her and Charlize Andromeda, or whatever her name is,
Mm-hmm.
the new, Andromeda, the Scythian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the two that worked for me because also not only did they try, and they're always trying in this case to develop character. They can't do it well enough because you always have these flashy sides.
Yeah.
You're going to have the fights. They're going to have to be balanced along with this attempt at characterization, and I thought they did. So I liked the relationship between the two lead females.
Yeah, I agree.
And the reason I love that is that they didn't emphasize it.
Mm.
For me, it was just like, not questioning. Oh my gosh, don't they now have female heroes?
Right.
it was
It
just,
seemed natural.
it seemed to me really natural. And so, which meant that the men really did take the secondary role.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to make something out of Booker, was it Matthias?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I thought Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think he brings a natural personality to any role that he plays, so I thought he was good with it. I like when as long as they pick the right guy, I like when they get a little nerdy or so with the bad guy. I think that's a fun, kind of twist on that kind of thing, and I thought he was pretty solid. I thought those were the two
Okay, so that was
performances that were...
Chiwetel Ejiofor?
Yeah, Chiwetel and Ejiofor, I believe is what it is, yeah.
And not enough of him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What about the argument? One of the things I liked about the film is an attempt to look philosophically at immortality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even I thought with that, combining that with the war angle, because I thought there was some interesting stuff with that. In terms of there's a moment where the new girl Kiki Lane is wanting to talk about, trying to find this purpose within joining this group, and Charlize Theron says to her, "You think finding the reason is going to make it make sense to you or something?"
Yes.
I'm forgetting that a little wrong, but I thought there was a really strong sense of that for a war situation as well, for people going into war and finding purpose and stuff like that, for fighting, for things. So yeah, I agree. There was definitely some extra layers to.
Of course, it devolves into the old tropes.
Yeah.
We've got the big farm that wants to get the formula.
Yeah.
And he's been a baddie somewhere before.
Right.
It's almost James Bond like.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely got that feel for sure. You're absolutely right.
So it does have some of those for people who look for
Mm-hmm.
the usual gimmicks that they have in a superhero film are here. And you got to fight him because this guy's going to take over the world. If you don't got it, then we know all that. But in that sense of immortality, to kind of add to what you were saying, the notion that this is not always a good thing. If you look at the one thing that really strikes me about the immortality business is the loss of the people you love.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The loneliness of this.
Seeing them grow old and then be gone.
Yeah.
It was very I was thinking about vampires a lot.
Yes,
during it.
very much so.
Kept coming back to me is that's a common theme in a lot of vampire tales, is that idea that you're living on so far beyond where, Charlize is talking about she doesn't remember what her mom's face looks like, or sisters and stuff like that.
Yes. And I was thinking there was one character who was punished, and he is given 100 years of isolation. And it struck me like, oh man, that is a friggin' lifetime.
Yeah.
And what a great punishment for someone who's been living for hundreds of years, and he's got 100 years that he has to be away from the people he loves.
Yeah.
That whole sense of losing those closest to you. You think this is great, you watch them die.
Right.
And then you will really be alone.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, this is The Old Guard, starring South Africa's Charlize. What grade do you award it?
I'm gonna have to go. I'll go with a B-. I think it's a competently made movie and it's worth watching, but I definitely wanted to like it more.
That's a fair assessment, and I'm going to give it a B+ because I'm much more forgiving than you are. And what do you think now? Is there immortality for this franchise?
That's a great question. I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like it's getting overall some good grades, but it's just hard to tell with not having, with this stuff being released on Netflix. They're not going to tell you really too much what their numbers are and stuff like that. We'll just have to take their word for it, and they'll invest in it if it is. So.
The Old Guard.
The Old Guard.